This is a damage calculator made for the most recent version of GMS, the Heroes of Mabel patch. If you are just here for the numbers, you can pause now, otherwise I'll go on to explain how it works. The reason why we need a different sort of calculator for GMS is because it's different from how KMS works. In KMS, the speed cap is 2 and cannot be broken with green pots, while in GMS, it can. Therefore, you can reach 0 speed, which really alters the way non-keydown classes perform relative to keydown classes. Another thing is the overall transparency. This spreadsheet will be made available later on, and you can see how it works yourself. This allows you to make sure that there are no errors, or if there are, you can correct them yourself. Whereas with the KMS version, for people who don't read Korean, it's difficult to identify where these numbers come from. Starting off, a dummy character is created with about 3,200 strength. This goes up to 2,600 after potentials. That's about 600% strength. There's also 1,000 non-weapon attack. That means from Tyrant Capes, Gollix items and things like that. And 100% attack. It's just chosen because it's a nice round number. And it's about what you want. Same with 300% boss. You kind of want about that much for your potentials. 50% damage was included because of link skills and hyper stats. This results in a true range, which actually doesn't include this damage. That's actually put into the damage per hit formula. So this is your real range, the one that's used for your calculations, and it won't be contaminated by any sort of total damage. It changes a little bit based on weapon multiplier, but for the most part stays in the same ballpark. Whoever this is, that's crazy high. 5.7 mil, it must be, well, yeah, lots of stat here. Alright, so for the buffs and passives, most of them were included, but any hyper stats that did not achieve 50% or higher uptime weren't included. So that means Blue Blood was included, since it's 60 seconds duration, 120 cooldown, and it's not dependent on anything, so you can just press a button and it's ready to go. Whereas something like Shade's Moonbeam was not included, because it requires you to attack and pass a 10% chance. Dual Blade's Hidden Blade, that was included, because you can just press a button, again, 60 second duration, 90 second cooldown. They are scaled for their duration, so that means you won't see Blue Blood being 90% final damage, it's 45%, since 50% uptime, and same for the rest of them. Secondary weapons are also included. I made a few assumptions as to which one you would have. If you're a hero or paladin, you would use a Terminus Shield, which adds 150 stat. That's included in the bonus stat column. For dual blades, a Sweetwater Katara was assumed. That's the source of this extra 90 attack. I'm not sure exactly how much attack it has, but it should be around 90-ish. That's also the source of this extra 0.3 boss, 30% boss. For the most part, summons weren't included because they attack differently from the main character. Unless in special cases where the attack delays are known and the character has full control of how the summon attacks, like Bowmaster's Arrow Platter. Summons that had really short durations, like Wing Beat, they were put in a separate spot because it's difficult to calculate exactly how much time you lose casting Wing Beat compared to how much DPS it gives you. But it seems like it gives a lot. You'll also see some pretty crazy ranges. I can't fully explain them because I don't play every single class, but I've checked a few times and I hope most of the errors are gone. Here you see Thunderbreaker at 4.7 billion DPS. Sounds a bit high, especially when you look at the KMS sheet, where Thunderbreaker is 11th at that's a moderate rank. Well, when you consider that Green Pot can break the attack speed cap, and Thunderbreaker easily reaches the attack speed cap, it's more reasonable that it's one of the highest DPSs. This is the what's it called? The Big Anchor and the Shark combo. Assuming that you chain it perfectly, it has a delay of 0.81 seconds. So for the Phantom, I used Cross Surge, Funnel Cut, and Rage. Seems to be a fairly staple combo for Phantom. Works pretty well. This is the most recent patch, remember, so even after the Final Cut nerfs. And the beauty of this is that I can just throw in the old numbers of Final Cut. So that was 1.6 times Cross Surge, just minus the original 100% base, 1.88. I'll just chuck that in. And yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. You can see why they'd get a nerf. Another surprising one is Marksman, but this is based on a maximum range Marksman, where the enemy has no allies nearby. For those of you who aren't familiar with Marksman, the further you are up to a set distance, the more final damage you get. Also, if the target is alone with no one next to them, you also get more final damage. The skill delays mostly were obtained from the Basil Market hits per second DPS chart, also from South Parry, and most of the damage formulas were obtained from Strategy Wiki, if that's the name of the site. I can't really remember. I think that's about it. You can see the effects of the recent buff to Mercedes. Not really recent, but a few months ago they received 30% attack. If I just delete that, you can see the massive effect it has. That's the beauty of this spreadsheet. You can just modify it on the go and it will respond immediately. I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Good luck for Marvel tomorrow, or in a few hours, and have a nice day.